So, you probably know I spend a lot of my free time on my PC playing whatever game I feel like, but most of you probably don't know that I like technology a lot, and I know a lot about computers, how to build them, and a lot more. So today I'm going to show you my main computer and how I think it is the best budget gaming PC for under £250. So firstly, the specs. My PC is running a Soldeal H81 motherboard, which means it supports LGA 1150 CPUs by Intel, which gives us a lot of options for what CPU we want, and it's only £30 on Amazon. The CPU of choice was the Intel Core i7-4790, as it has 4 cores, 8 threads, and a turbo boost of up to 4GHz. If your budget stretches a little more, I'd recommend buying the K version, as that supports overclocking so you can get more performance out of it, but you will need a better motherboard, as the board I have doesn't actually support overclocking. For £90 on CEX, this is definitely not a bad option for a CPU. I also bought a CPU cooler, as when you buy used, you don't tend to get coolers included. So I went for the Arctic Alpine 12, which cost me £10 from Amazon, and is more than enough to keep this CPU cool. I paired this with 8GB of DDR3 1333MHz RAM. If you wanted to, you could upgrade to 16GB for not that much more, but I stuck with 8GB because I don't really need the extra RAM right now, and it only cost me about £12. My graphics card of choice is the Nvidia GeForce GTX 1050, as it only cost me £80 on CEX. But if you wanted, you could probably get a 1050 Ti, as they offer more performance for only £25 to £30 more on CEX. Overall, I'm very happy with the price I got my GPU for. I also bought a 2TB hard drive from CEX to store all my files on for only £30. A lot of you will probably tell me that buying used hard drives and SSDs is a very bad idea, but I found that the ones from CEX are in very good condition and they perform just the same as a brand new hard drive, but I suppose that's your risk to take. If you wanted, you could probably forget about the hard drive altogether and get a 120 or 240GB SSD for roughly the same price. I got my case free from one of my dad's friends, but you could easily pick up a cheap £5 or £10 case off eBay to throw all your parts in and it would be fine, but considering I got this case for free, I decided to use it. That brings the total cost of this machine to about £255, which is not bad at all, so let's get into the benchmarking. I'll be using Aero 10, a modified version of Windows 10 Enterprise, which might see slightly worse performance than, say, stock Windows 10 or Windows 7, so expect your results to vary slightly. Also, bear in mind that I'm recording the gameplay using the PC, not an external capture card, so it can make my results slightly worse than the actual performance of the PC, so your frame rate will likely be higher than my results. First off, we have Minecraft 1.15.2 in 1080p running up to fine, with graphics set to fancy, smooth lighting set to max, and a 24 chunk render distance. We achieved an average of 208 FPS, with minimums of 81 FPS when a lot was being rendered. If you turn the render distance down a bit, set graphics to fast and smooth lighting to minimum, you could easily see over 500 FPS averages. Next up, we have Wharf running in 1080p with the high settings preset and VSync off. We achieved an average of 74 FPS with minimums down to 51 when a lot of effects and particles were on screen. If you want a better frame rate, you could easily bump those settings down to medium and see 100 FPS, but overall it was a great experience. After that, I decided to benchmark one of my favourites, BeamNG Drive. In 1080p with the low settings with grass off on the Italy map, one of the hardest maps to run in the game, it achieved just an average of 51 FPS with loads down to 22, which was a momentary stutter after a collision, so overall, not a bad experience at all. And finally, we have Fortnite. Because of how bloated the game's gotten over the years, it's becoming harder to run on lower end systems. In 1080p with medium settings and 3D resolution set to 85%, we achieved an average of 103 FPS with lows down to 40 FPS when jumping out of the battle bus. The game looked great and it was overall a good experience. So, would I recommend you buy this PC? Well, yes. If you're on a budget, it's a great little machine, and for only £250, it can run some pretty new titles. Although, if you are expecting these new titles to run in 4K at max settings, then you should probably invest in something that isn't this. But for 1080p at medium, this will definitely be good enough. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. This is the first ever scripted video that I've made, so it's an accomplishment for me. Also, thank you all so much for 200 subscribers. Special coming soon, I promise. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.